Welcome to Vegan Ultra. I'm your inspiration guide, Adam Gallus, on this epic quest for health, hope, and happiness, which I lose 150 pounds on a Blue Zone vegan diet while becoming the Captain America version of myself to prove to myself, my family, and everybody watching on YouTube that we can all become the ultra versions of ourselves if we just give it a chance and are powered by plants. Now, this is, of course, the monthly weigh-in. So let's give a summary of how things are going. So I have had a bit of a setback on my epic quest to get to 8% body fat. This is, of course, the Captain America physique. Is also the lowest recommended body fat according to the American College of Sports Medicine and the Mayo Clinic. And studies indicate this is the J-curve optimal point for the lowest mortality for men, meaning if you can get to 8%, statistically speaking, you have the longest life expectancy. It also looks really, really good. For context, I started out on my journey back in July of 2023 at 40% body fat. I recently got down to 20%. This is where I am today. This is roughly the best I've been back in my army days. Next up, of course, is 15, 10%, and 8. And now let me share with you the setback that it's been for the last week. So I recently suffered a medial collateral ligament strain. At least that is what my doctor's phone referral session indicates is most likely. Now, this is a mild strain. This is not a big deal unless I ignore it, in which case my knee might become useless for 6 months. So this is something serious. My medical team says I need to take care of it. 1 to 3 weeks. It's been 1 week so far, and it looks like I'm going to need a second week. This is basically what my doctor prepared me for, saying you're probably going to need 2 weeks, maybe 3. And this is, of course, what makes it very challenging, because let me share with you how things are going. Let's get to the health stats. So to share this journey with you. So as you remember, when I started out, everything was flying. I lost something like 60 pounds in 6 weeks. I lost 100 pounds in 6 months. You can see here the cumulative weight loss first achieved here at about the 6-month journey back in January. Everything was fantastic. I thought I could get to 150-pound weight loss in 1 year. But my medical team said, look, you're going way too fast. You're going to hurt yourself. Indeed, that is essentially what has happened. My body started to break down after 1,200 miles of walking in 4 months. And of course, the weighted vest, I got up to 50 pounds on that. My team says, take that off. You've got to give your body time to recover. So you can see here in this, when I switched to the monthly weigh-ins, 10 pounds lost, 7.2 pounds lost. But of course, the problem is the emotional toil it takes. Because think about it. What is it that you have in life? You've got various problems in, say, politics and current events. You've got your family. You've got your health. You've got your finances, maybe how things are going at work, maybe 5 or 6 categories of things, one of which you can control is your diet and your lifestyle. So this is where the daily 3 hours of exercise really made me feel fantastic. I was, reaching my goals every week. And so even though I know that I'm on this optimal, sustainable lifestyle, even though I know that I'm on this incredible mission, working with incredible people that I meet each week at the meetups to help save the world and bring about Star Trek Utopia for all, even though all that is still on track, you're going to have your occasional bad week, even a bad month. So not having that ability, that dopamine release, the endorphin release, and the stress release of the weight training, of the exercise, it's been a very depressing week. But with some meetups, with the support of my family, of course, the medical team, the AI Federation Life Council, it's been a lot easier to get through this. In the past, this kind of, stalling where, you get basically several months where you have to pivot your weight training goals, your fitness goals to be healthier and more sustainable. And then you suffer a setback, and suddenly now you feel like a failure, that would have sent me running back to Chick-fil-A, running back to binging on junk food. And remember, every time I suffered a setback, just like most people, I would yo-yo, I would regain all the weight and then some. So you can see here that on this general track my medical team has me on, 6 pounds a month, I would get down to 170-pound weight loss by May of 2025. This is around 23 months into my vegan journey. Now, 148 pounds happens to be BMI 18. This is as low as medical science says to go. So if I need to lose this much weight, we don't think that's going to be necessary because of the weight training, because of the increased exercise that essentially will be resetting and pushing up in the coming weeks. I'll give you an update next month, but let's take a review. Remember, weight loss is vanity, health is sanity, and objective statistics are reality. So body fat down to 21.6 from 23 last time. Visceral body fat, this is the fat around your organs that will kill you. You want this single digits. I'm back down to single digits. And remember where I started at, 21% visceral body fat, 40% body fat, now down to 21.6 and 9. So I've cut both in half. Muscles, this is of course important because I've been essentially my doctor's orders, no exercise, completely sedentary, no stress on the knee. Don't even go to the grocery store. Don't do mowing. Don't go to meetups. So obviously no weight training. 2.4 pounds of muscle lost out of that 7. So about 1/3 lean tissue, 2/3 fat. That's very important. Metabolic age moving in the right direction. Backwards aging, as of course you would expect from a optimal lifestyle, and 79 pounds of fat loss so far, 80% of the weight loss I've lost. Now, of course, you can see here with no weight training, 66% of the weight loss is essentially fat, which is quite good because oftentimes people lose weight, it's all lean tissue. Now, looking here at the blood sugar, not sure why this is above 100. You can see here it was normally very well controlled. This is probably due to stress and a lack of the exercise itself, because of course exercise helps control blood sugar. Blood pressure coming in back under normal levels, 88. So the mean blood pressure, you want this under 100. I'm at 88, and resting pulse is coming in now down to 60. Very close to the record 59. So things are looking well, and I'll be, of course, maintaining my medical team. We have another blood test in 2 months to make sure that my iron levels are moving in the right direction. They were high last time, but 3 times lower than they were 6 months previous. So that's moving in the right direction. Medical team says I am healthier than I have ever been in my entire life. So that is positive. Now, let me show you, of course, Diet of Champions time, what I am eating, especially to stay on track when you cannot work out at all. So we have the 6 schedule. I've worked with this with my dietitian and medical team, all science-based. So it all starts here with the soup. So let me show you the soup. This is what you eat every day. This is what is packed with your greens, your beans, your vegetables, your spices, the magic, science-based magic, anti-inflammatory spices, garlic, ginger, mustard, onion, turmeric, black pepper, curry, cumin, and various Mrs. Dashes. And let me show you what I mean here. You can see I've got all of this ordered from Walmart. They're delivering, so does Target, so don't have to go grocery shopping. Now, what is nice about Mrs. Dashes is it's no sodium. And take a look at this chicken blend. Actually, this is vegan because this has no animal products in it. Look at this: garlic, onion, black pepper, sweet chili pepper, oregano, rosemary, basil, sage, thyme, cayenne pepper, bay, marjoram, savory, coriander, cumin, mustard, carrots, paprika, orange peels, 20 different kinds of spices in one. And of course, this is all essentially calorie free. You can go ahead, I'm putting in a tablespoon a day of all of this. Curry, What's nice about the curry, let me see if I can show you here, but now remember, for the gut microbiome, you want diversity, including diversity of spices. That is good for your gut microbiome. So let's take a look here at the ingredients in this curry powder: coriander, turmeric, fenugreek, cumin, black pepper, bay leaves, celery seeds, nutmeg, clove, onion, ginger, and red pepper. Now, cumin has the highest concentration of salicylic acid. That is the chief ingredient in aspirin, and so it is natural aspirin. Now, the nice thing about it, my medical team tells me, is that you do not want to actually try to inhibit inflammation. Your body needs inflammation, basically blood rushing to a damaged area to repair it with essentially the antibodies for any kind of infection. You do not want rest, ice, elevate, and compress. This will treat pain, but it actually has not been shown in any studies to significantly improve healing. In fact, it can slow healing because you're decreasing inflammation, you're decreasing blood flow to the affected area. But spices are nature's pharmacy. So this is basically the soup, 4,800 calories for the entire week. Notice 361 grams of protein, lots of healthy fat. Look at that healthy fat here. 20 grams of monounsaturated fat, 45 grams of polyunsaturated fat, including plenty of omega-3. So let's once again take a look here. The magic of fat. Trans fats are the nutritional devil. Saturated fats raise your LDL. Bad cholesterol directly leads to heart disease and death. But take a look at this. More monounsaturated fats. So these are things you'll find in such as plant oils such as olive oil, but polyunsaturated fat, these are things you find in nuts. These are the omega-3 fats, omega-3 fatty acids. So things like algae oil, things like flaxseed, things like tempeh and soy. So this is as much polyunsaturated fats as you can get, you want. These are the healthy fats, which brings us to one of my favorite foods I'm eating now every week, tempeh. As my medical team confirms, this is nature's most perfect food. Tempeh, it is fermented. That makes everything better. It's got the 3 grains. That, of course, is good for variety, and grains have been shown to decrease Alzheimer's risk, among many other things. And, of course, as we saw in the science-based magic of soy, isoflavones that fight cancer, reduce the risk of heart disease, that are absolutely incredible. Now, take a look at this. So this is a 8-ounce, half a pound, $2.29. So $4.56 a pound at Trader Joe's. And take a look at the entire package. 51 grams of protein, 29 grams of carbs, all of that fiber. Look at that. The sodium to potassium ratio is about 140. Now remember, potassium is the anti-sodium. It dilates blood vessels. The World Health Organization recommends eating at least as much potassium as sodium in a day. U.S. government recommends 2-to-1 ratio. The ratio here is 140-to-1. So this is the secret to all these healthy fats. Fats are not evil. If they're healthy fats, they're actually good. You can see fiber, packed with carbs, packed with protein. And look at those minerals, look at the vitamins, and we can see here omega-6 to omega-3 ratio. Remember, you want this to be as close to 1 as possible, under 3.5 for this soup. This is anti-inflammatory. The average standard American diet is 25 to 30. That's why we're the sickest people in the world, but this is the cure for all that. Potassium to sodium ratio, remember, 2-to-1 is what's recommended. This is almost 10. Calcium oxalate ratio, so almost everything perfectly optimized. And of course, you can't live on soup alone, so the fruit. Now, I've had to cut back because I'm not doing all the 3 hours of exercise, so I'm now down, per my recommendation of my medical team, to 1 pound of apples. This is about 3 or 4 large apples per day. Still very good. And apples, in addition to having hundreds of kinds of antioxidants, also have a compound called bromelain, which helps with muscle healing. So if you're sick, that's why they say an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Yes, there's actual medical science behind it. And finally, in addition, I have 88 ounces of broth skimmed off of this. Basically, that helps to get more of those nutrients, and it helps you feel full because, of course, you're not eating a lot. So, in addition, I've got the daily dessert in the form of a 0-calorie electrolyte drink that is from Ulta, that I put the 5 grams of creatine. Now, the creatine, my medical team says, keep taking that because in addition, you want to keep saturated with that. It helps with muscle tissue repair and cognition and even immune system. So basically, lots of medical benefits from creatine. Dr. Greger also agrees and recommends specifically bulk supplements. The most tested and safest variety also happens to be the cheapest. And finally, the cinnamon almond milk. So this, I go ahead and show you what I am looking at here. So this is, simply put, the nectar of the gods. We're looking at nature's own healthy version of, well, this is the cheap version. I could go ahead and show you here. So unsweetened almond milk with natural vanilla flavoring and Ceylon cinnamon oil. So the almond milk, basically one of these half gallons has roughly, this is the equivalent of around 3 servings of almonds with all the benefits of that, plus the Ceylon cinnamon. So that is basically turning one superfood into a super duper superfood, and it tastes amazing. This is like a milkshake, and you can have, even being sick, 96 ounces of that, which is only 360 calories. You can see this is packed with healthy fats, no saturated fats, even surprising amounts of protein and fiber. So putting it all together, that is a total of, on a completely sedentary recovery week, 9,000 calories, 1,275. Now, my Fitbit tells me I'm burning about 2,750. So this is a 1,500 calorie deficit, meaning 3 pounds a week. So even if I'm out for the next week, which my doctor says I probably will be, and maybe 2 weeks, if I'm out for 2 weeks, I'll lose 6 pounds, which is actually more than I'd lose if I was exercising and eating more. So 1,275. So let's take a look here at the macros. 44 grams of fat per day, 1 gram of saturated fat. Look at that. 29% healthy fats, less than 1% saturated fat. Now, the U.S. government, USDA, recommends less than 10% of calories from saturated fat. The American Heart Association, 6%. I'm less than 1%. Fiber, almost 10% of my calories, meaning I'm not actually absorbing those. 66. The government recommends 37 for men. Normally I eat between 100 and 150, but of course eating very, very little, but nutrient dense. Protein, 65 grams. The government recommends 57. And in terms of grams per kilo, 0.6, that is the minimum recommendation, though 0.8 is for anyone who is doing exercise, but that is target based on your target weight. Target weight is 0.85. So I'm getting all the protein I need, 19% overall protein, 52% calories from carbohydrates, which is the optimal level statistically speaking from this meta-analysis in the Lancet. Now, if we take a look at some of the other things like sodium here, 2,300 milligrams per day. That is essentially largely from the almond milk, but still below the 2,500, or basically at the recommended amount. Potassium coming in at 4,836, above the recommended amount, with calcium coming in at 6 times the recommended amount. That's because, of course, the almond milk is fortified. And we've got, of course, iron coming in almost 3 times the recommended amount. And overall potassium to sodium ratio, remember, USDA recommends above 2, World Health Organization above 1. I'm coming in at 2.1. So essentially, even on a minimum calorie week, when you're completely sedentary, trying to lose as much weight as possible, you can still do a nutrient-dense diet that gives you all the nutrition you need so that you can still lose weight the healthy way. As you can see here, 66% of the weight loss, fat, not muscle. So thank you so much for joining me. Now I'll go ahead and share the body shot as I do each week for full accountability, so you can track as where I started from. Now I was started from week 15 because I did not know I was going to be doing a YouTube channel for this, but recreating this shot. Now, not this for the last few weeks because there's really been no progress to track, but as I progress, so you can watch me go from 40% body fat to 8% body fat, becoming the Captain America version of myself and proving that we can all become the ultra versions of ourselves if we give it a chance, are powered by plants, and follow the science-based magic and nutrition-fueled sorcery. As my doctor says, this is a lifestyle that can benefit everybody. All it takes is a bit of willpower and the courage to try. Thank you so much for joining me. Please subscribe to this channel, like this video to help other people find it on YouTube, and consider trying this Blue Zone vegan lifestyle that's helped me lose 100 pounds in 10 months and become the healthiest, happiest version of myself, even though bad stuff still happens in life, as it always will. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.